What if the buildings and the houses we lived in didn't cost us endless bills to survive? Like, what if when you entered your home, it kept you warm without cost, without a price to you to keep it warm or cool? What if it was done at zero cost? And you had access to water that didn't cost you anything and was clean and fresh. And you could have fresh picked vegetables almost daily within the house, growing with very, very low maintenance. In other words, you don't have to go out and water in the same way you would have to if you were a person who worries about watering your houseplants. And you didn't end up with having an electrical bill, right? So you don't have a power bill. You would probably find that the world would cost a lot less in the means of the cost of housing, the pressure of life to live, and the cost of the housing. And that, I think, is a starting point for looking at elements that we could consider in changing the way humans interact on the planet, like with our corporate systems, with our human systems, with the things we need and have and want to be healthy, keep things fresh, keep things close, safe, within, so systems can't be messed with and collapsed, right? I guess that's where I'm even. Knowing that gas and oil and electricity and all these things are a finite system that can break somewhere, and we do a good job at keeping them up and repairing them, but we've seen tragedies happen and other situations take place that makes it a very vulnerable system. And if we haven't learned that by now, I mean, we can look at different ways even war itself has been taking place, and the first things that get taken out are the key elements that end up shutting down power, right? Taking out communication, those kind of things. So when we're looking at individual systems that are massive, and they're very kind of a weak element that's not necessarily beneficial for the people of the country, it would be nice to reconsider the way we construct a house, the way we look at and understand the structure and the way it sits on the planet and the interaction with it. We have some very, very intelligent people that have come up with good ways of creating a sustainable structure that is unlike your average house in almost every way. It can look much like your average house in similar ways, a lot of similar ways, but the function is totally different. The function is, all of the functions are set in accordance with the way the Earth spins, the way the sun travels across the sky, the depth in which you start at for the thermal gain that you get from starting at a certain point of temperature, the solar gain from the building, using the elements of the planet within the structure to maintain an ecosystem, and that ecosystem making it hyper efficient for the use of water and creating a food system that sustains you and you sustain it in combination. And it's possible. It's been done. It's been done and it's been refined. It's been going on for quite a while, but it's funny because so many people have no idea about it. And what I'm speaking about, the type of structure I'm talking about, is Earthship Biotexture. Look at an Earthship. Go to Earthship Biotexture. See what Michael Reynolds has designed, and you will find that a house is not what we thought it was, or what it should be, or what it could be. It's totally different. It's absolutely mind-blowing. For anybody who's never seen anything but your average house being plugged into every system from the time it's built until the time it's done. And every system being plugged into the power, plugged into the sewer, plugged into the water, plugged into the, gas, natural gas a lot of times, plugged into the oil system, plugged into, well, then you have your entertainment systems, right? So the structure itself is usually built up out of the ground with wood, with air insulating the outside to the inside, and there's nothing of thermal mass to hold anything temperature-wise. So you're heating a box of air consistently, and you're trying to keep that air warm with nothing else except air, right? So making things airtight definitely helps as far as the exchange of airflow. We've improved those systems. We've come up with better insulations. We've really made landmark moves from the time, 200 years ago. If you look at buildings 200 years ago, it's like night and day. They were using sawdust and newspapers inside the walls to try to keep things a little bit warmer. It worked a little bit, but it didn't work as good as what we have today. And then to reconsider the materials we have and the materials we use, but consider using them in a different way. Consider using them in such a way that the house design works at the 55-degree mark up. In other words, you go dig into the ground 12 feet, you meet the 55 degrees. 55 degrees at 12 feet in the ground. And you put the building at that point, so that way you're tapped into the base of 55 degrees, and you insulate that structure tapped into that 55 degrees, and you face that structure to the sun. So that way, in the winter, when the sun's low in the sky, it comes deep inside the structure, it warms it up. In the summer, the sun's high in the sky, and it comes shallow in the structure, and it keeps it cooler. Thermal venting allows you to exchange all the air in the building and temperature control the building just through thermal convection. This is key elements to cut the expense of how much it costs somebody to live in a house and not have to pay endless amounts of money to an electric bill or a heating bill. Putting the house off-grid, making it sustainable off-grid so you can still have all your power needs met. You can still function normal, but have no electric bill from it. Then to take your water system, so your fresh water comes in and you're breaking it down. Your shower and your sinks go to the greenhouse. Now, I would have to explain the layout of the house. The house has a greenhouse on the south side, and the greenhouse is separated from the living space, which is inside against the earthen part, and it creates an air buffer from the living space to the outside via the greenhouse. That greenhouse is warm enough in the winter to use the gray water to water the plants and feed your plants. So you taking a shower, you doing the dishes is feeding the plants in the house. From there, you're able to take the water that fed the plants, the extra water that made it through and got filtered, that is what's filtered to flush the toilet. So you're never actually using fresh water to flush the toilet. You're using water that's been used twice at that point. So it's hyper efficient on water. Now, the simplicity in changing the design of a house to meet this requirement isn't too hard. The concept is fair to get through to understand. Why we have not taken this into consideration into any local zoning, planning, we talk about sustainability, we talk about green, we talk about being energy free, but it's a joke. It's a joke. And then you have things like solar farms going on DEC land that's protected, that's no longer protected because they're going to put green energy there, but they're still there for a profit. No, this is all backwards. These are conversations I would like to have. These are things that I think would be nice to discover or to have conversations where there's an exchange and we can go onto deeper rabbit holes. How did we get there? What would be good to do? How come these things are this way? That's where I'd like to start. This is my first YouTube video, and I hope you'll come back to see more. Hopefully I'll get better at this. Thank you. My name's Heath. YouTube. Click, like, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to say those things. Have a good night. I'll see you next time.